What's up, guys? It's your boy Sonic3 here, and man, has it been a while. Today we are back here on the original Warzone, and today we're going to be finding out exactly how much money did I actually spend on this game during the 3-year lifespan of this game. Now, we're going to be calculating every single bundle that I've purchased inside this game and seeing the exact or an estimate value of how much money did I actually spend during the 3-year lifespan of this game. And to be honest, I'm expecting a pretty dang high number, regardless of how many bundles did I actually buy inside this game. Now, as always, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new here. We drop Warzone 2 content pretty much every single day. Obviously, this is not Warzone 2, but still, you get the gist of it. And yeah, let's go ahead and calculate exactly how much money did I actually spend in this game. Now, like I just said, we're going to be looking at some of these bundles and just kind of talking a little bit about why I even wanted to buy these select different bundles and whatnot. So let's start this off with the very first Tracer round bundle I actually bought inside this game, which was the Tracer Pack Red. Now, this came out back whenever the Tracer whole entire concept was kind of new to the game. I think the only other Tracers they had inside the game at this time was the green and the blue one. And I honestly, green may be my favorite color, but red just kind of sticks with me in certain situations. It just kind of highlights everything, you know, and whatnot. And this was the first one I actually bought, which came with a Tracer Scar, which at the time of this game, obviously the Scar was not a great weapon to really be using in game because it just wasn't as effective, and 30 rounds is not enough. But obviously Modern Warfare 2, the Scar is kind of popping right now, so it didn't make sense here at the time, but I enjoyed the gun. I got a win with it on Verdansk back whenever I actually still played the bigger maps. But obviously I wanted this gun, the Tracer, because it was one of the first ones. New concept, it was kind of cool, and just why not? Next, we have my first operator bundle that I actually bought inside this game. That's the Dr. Karlov Lives bundle, which came with the electric lightning AK blueprint, MP7, and also this knife blueprint was kind of cool because it also doesn't just give you this knife, but you get a throwing knife variant of this knife that also has that electric tracer to it, which was kind of cool at the time. This was the first bundle I actually bought that came with multiple things. I think this is actually the first 2,400 hard point bundle I actually bought inside this game. It was because of the Haunting of Verdansk event, and MP7 was kind of meta during that time period, so it was definitely worth the money at the time. Now looking back at it, I really shouldn't have spent the money on it, but it was definitely cool. It really did carry me during that time period. I think I had like a 20 kill game on the Haunting of Verdansk. Honestly, I can't remember. It's been so dang long, but it was a great time. And honestly, I kind of wish things like that actually came back for Warzone 2. And hopefully they will for the Haunting of Almaz or whatever happens during Halloween and whatnot. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is a Soap Operator bundle. Now, the reason why we're talking about this one is because this is the first appearance of the CX9 inside of the bundle, and the CX9 was an unreleased weapon for a hot minute. This bundle came out during, I believe, Season 1 of Black Ops Cold War, so this is literally at the end of Modern Warfare 2019's whole entire life cycle and whatnot in its era of Warzone. And CX9 was a very popular weapon at the time because everybody wanted it, but Infinity Ward never actually released it for a hot minute. But whenever they finally did, the first thing I did was get this gun, Gold and Obsidian, literally on the first day. It was one of the first videos of mine that actually kind of popped off on the channel, so I have a lot of love and thanks for this gun for somehow helping my whole entire YouTube channel out in the long run and whatnot. So thanks, Soap. Now that we're done with the Modern Warfare era bundles that I wanted to kind of highlight that I actually bought during that time period, let's go ahead and get into the Cold War era, which I gotta say, this is where I spent literally most of my money at inside of the whole entire lifespan of Warzone. It was mainly during the Black Ops Cold War era because they dropped reactive camos and Mastercraft camos, which is huge things because I loved Black Ops 4 and I loved them for adding that into the game. So the fact that Black Ops Cold War brought that system back into the game, it just was a huge selling point for me. So let's look at a few of those bundles that actually dropped during that time period. So first off, we had the Black Ops Arcade Reactive, one of the first reactive camos to drop into this game, and by far one of the best reactive camos. It still holds up to this day. Now, it looks a lot better on Cold War than it does here inside of Warzone, but back when the FFAR was a meta gun inside this game. This camo was literally all you saw across the map, just with different mastery camos over it and whatnot. So it was definitely a great time. Love this camo. It brings back a lot of good memories on Rebirth Island. Next up, we have the Necro King Mastercraft bundle. Now, this is by far one of the best Mastercrafts they ever released during Cold War. It literally gave players exactly what they wanted. You have a dragon on the Craig. Now, the Craig wasn't a popular weapon at the time, but once it did become popular, all you saw was this variant of the Craig, or like various different other tracer around versions of the Craig, just kind of dominating the map. It has a cool Mastercraft inspect feature. It was just a beautiful gun, and I'm glad that they actually added this into Cold War. And I kind of wish that Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 kind of took the same page out of the book from Cold War and kind of just make cool blueprints that actually make you want to actually buy these weapons inside this game. Now, the next bundle I have to show is the Angels and Demons Reactive Anime Bundle. Now, this is the first reactive anime bundle to come out inside of Cold War and also Warzone in general. And it came with this clean AK reactive blueprint that looks beautiful, especially once you put like other camos and stuff over it and whatnot. Like the colors is just a beautiful thing. It also came with this M82 blueprint, which actually is the only reason why I would ever use the M82 here inside of Warzone, was because of this blueprint. Otherwise, this was a pretty weak sniper in the game, but the AK was very popular for a hot minute, so this blueprint really still stood the test of times and whatnot here inside of Warzone. Now, next up, we have the Mothership Mastercraft. Now, this Tundra blueprint is just a major Star Wars Easter egg inside of Warzone without being an actual Star Wars crossover blueprint. Whenever you inspect it, obviously you see it fly around in the sky and shoot out different mini ships that somehow fly across the screen and whatnot. It was amazing. It looks great with different mastery camos over it and whatnot. I think I did the camo glitch on it a few times just to get different camos, like Obsidian on it, and also I believe Dark Aether and all kinds of stuff on it. It was really cool camo, and I'm glad that this was even created inside of Cold War. Cold War really had some of the best Mastercrafts and reactive camos inside the game. It really did make me really want to actually buy a lot of these stuff, such as this Wonderland Reactive Mastercraft. I believe this was the first one to actually implement the reactive and Mastercraft feature to it all in one, and it was for the XM4, which at the time was kind of dominating the long range competition, similar to like how the M4 was. It was reliable, strong, and fast, and this camo was beautiful on this gun, and it had a very cool inspect feature where it makes you kind of trip out after eating this weird gold worm or whatever. This makes you trip out. It was a beautiful camo. I'm glad that this was even made inside this game. Now here we are towards the end of the Cold War's lifespan, and these are the last few bundles that Cold War actually released before Vanguard actually took over. So first off, we have the Sultan's Draft Reactive Mastercraft, another one, and it was one of the few bundles here inside of Cold War that actually gave you back COD points from actually buying it. So if once you buy it, then you get like this extra missions where you can get 300 COD points, and then like skins and other stuff for the character. That was actually pretty dang cool. So now you can actually get back some money from buying things. I kind of wish they actually brought back the system to actually incentivize players to buy things more, because not only are you buying things, you're actually getting some out of it just from being able to play the game in certain ways and whatnot. But it came with this EMC blueprint, which at the time EMC was a very popular weapon, so it was definitely worth the buy, because not only do I have a cool looking gun, I have a cool looking gun that can kill everybody in like two seconds or whatever. Like, this gun was pretty dominant, and it has a really cool inspect feature where you kind of smoke a little bit and whatnot. It was really cool and definitely worth my money at the time. I actually had no regrets over this weapon in comparison to some of the other stuff I bought over the Cold War era of things and whatnot. But now we're on to the Vanguard bundles, which is where I'd spent a lot less, but I spent a lot more cash to actually get multiple cool things that they actually dropped during that time period. First off, starting with this Firestarter Mastercraft, which I believe this was the first Mastercraft to come out during during Vanguard. It's come with this really clean sword looking STG blueprint. It was very innovative for its time, especially since Vanguard was a very World War II-esque game. To see a gun like this be added into the game was kind of cool. Had a cool inspect feature. Love the tracers. STG is still one of my favorite ARs from whatchamacallit, the Vanguard era of Warzone. And it's kind of sad to see that it's just not as popular as it used to be towards the end of its lifespan and whatnot. But definitely a cool mastercraft. Don't regret buying it at all. Then we have the Attack on Titan bundle. Now, if you have been watching my videos for a while, or you just know me personally, you know I love anime. And at the time period, I was actually watching Attack on Titans, and then I found out that they were gonna have a collab with it, with this cool looking Cooper carbine based off of the Armor Titan, and it was kind of cool. Love the Armor Titan. I love how it looks. It looks a little weird at times whenever you see it, but definitely one of the cleanest crossover skins they have added, and one of the cleanest Mastercraft skins they have added during the Vanguard era of things and whatnot. It also came with this sniper that shows like the Colossal Titan on it. Too bad it didn't have like a tracer effect to it, but it definitely was kind of cool to have and whatnot. Then we have the first Ultra Mastercraft bundle that they actually dropped, which was for the AS-44. Now this was by far one of the coolest things that I've ever added, because I believe it wasn't Ultra, it was Heroic. It was the first Heroic blueprint that they added. Now, someone who liked how the heroic weapons were back inside of World War II, it's like obviously the special grade blueprint that they dropped and whatever. And not only was it a Mastercraft, it was reactive and it had tracers, so it had all three of the main blueprint types that they have created throughout Warzone's time frame in one whole blueprint, which was kind of cool. I love the aesthetic of how it can change colors by you pressing the button, or inside of Vanguard, if you get kills with it, it automatically changes color. And obviously if you put mastery camos over it, it looks even better. Though on Vanguard they won't let you put on mastery camos, but here inside of Warzone you can. Weird, but I love this blueprint and whatnot. Next we have by far one of the weirdest but coolest crossovers that they have had inside this game. That's with Godzilla, King Kong, and Mechagodzilla. This is by far one of the best heroic blueprints that they added into this game, and it was for Godzilla, the Breath of Godzilla, which was for the STG. Very meta dominant. The class setup for it was amazing, so even if you didn't have any of the good attachments for it, just running this setup alone was enough to keep you inside the fight here on Rebirth Island or on Caldera and whatnot. And also they had one for Mechagodzilla. Only cool thing about it was the melee weapon, but I did love the intro burst of this, because intro burst wasn't as bad as most players thought it was, and it felt good to actually use it and kind of dominate the competition. I actually had a live stream where I actually gave away multiple King Kong, Godzilla, and Mechagodzilla bundles. Next we have by far the most priciest thing I actually spent here inside of Warzone. That was for this Ultimate Pack Hellhound. Now, not only do you get 5,000 COD points, but you also get a Mastercraft bundle, blueprint, multiple different tracer rounds, and this very odd For Honor type skin. It was kind of crazy at the time, but I love this Armor Wearer blueprint. Definitely one of my favorite Mastercrafts inside this game. If I had to rank the different Mastercrafts inside this game, this is definitely making it in the top 5 because of how clean it is and just how dominant this gun kind of was at the time and how it is currently. If you were to play Warzone Caldera, you probably run into a few of these on the map and whatnot. And I love this. I just really love this blueprint. Now the last bundle I want to talk about is the Tracer Pack Realm of Anubis Mastercraft. Now this was the first, well, this was the last bundle that they actually practically dropped inside of Vanguard, and this one was a doozy because not only was it a Mastercraft and a tracer round weapon, but it had a unique feature where if you replace that attachment with a new attachment, it still kept the same aesthetic. So it was practically a vault weapon before vault weapons were actually introduced inside of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. So it was definitely worth the buy at the time, and it had that cool effect to it. I just really love this blueprint. It's definitely one of my top 5 Mastercrafts inside the game and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much all the bundles that I pretty much bought that were noteworthy throughout Warzone 3-year lifespan. Now that we've seen multiple different bundles that I've bought throughout Warzone's 3-year lifespan today, now we're going to actually find out how much I actually spent on the various different bundles. Now, To start things off, we're going to start off with the Modern Warfare era of bundles, which actually the amount that I actually spent during Modern Warfare's era of Warzone is $227. Now, to be honest, this is a huge surprise to me. I felt like I didn't actually buy that many bundles during that time period, but obviously, according to the prices and whatnot, that's about how much I actually spent during that time period. Very ashamed of myself, and honestly, I really shouldn't have spent that much just being a high schooler back during this time period and whatnot. But next up, we're gonna head over to the Cold War era of things, where this is where I spent literally most of my money at. And to be surprised, I'm not as surprised as I am at the overall price that I actually spent during this time period, which was $785. Now, to be honest, this is something that never should be done from a high schooler standpoint. You really should never spend this much money during this time period, but obviously I did, and it's on a video game, and I'm not even ashamed of it, because this is where I was kind of popping out content wise. So definitely was worth it, but should I have done it? Absolutely not. Now next up, we had the Vanguard era of things, where I didn't spend as much, but I did spend a pretty good penny for premium related content, such as like Mastercrafts and whatnot during Vanguard and whatnot. So how much I actually spent though was $374 during that time period. Now, once again, I'm not really surprised by the pricing of it, because I did buy a lot more premium content than I did back during Modern Warfare 2019. And even inside of Cold War, I just bought a lot more in Cold War than I did here inside of Vanguard. Now, the overall price that, if you put all of it together, it comes up to $1,386 is how much I actually spent on Warzone. To be honest, I am heavily ashamed of how much I actually put into this game, and really, you should never put this much money into a game, regardless of how popular it is or how great the game is. You really should never put that much money into it unless you truly have that cash to just be thrown around and whatnot. And to be honest, I did not. Now, as always, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's videos. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new here. Hopefully you got at the close enough estimate price for it. I'll leave a cookie or some comment underneath your comment if you actually did participate and try to guess my value and whatnot. And yeah, until next time, peace.